for the Mino Project. There's a home in Howard rich in history dating back to the 1800s. Tonight, John Mino takes you inside and behind the history in a story you'll see only on NBC 26.
I'm sure everybody who has studied Wisconsin history knows about the early French-Canadian settlers in the Green Bay area. Now, most of the information is only found in books or public museums, but there is one gentleman who will be more than happy to show you a first-hand look at life of the early settlers from his historic home overlooking Duck Creek in Howard. Even at 94 years old, Les Rentmeester can remember every detail of his days as a dashing bomber pilot over Germany, especially one day when Nazi fighters took him head-on.
Must have been about 9 of them came through our formation, and I think I must have gotten about 8, 9, 10, 20, 13 millimeter cannon shells from the Germans. And I could have reached, if I could have reached out, I could have touched one of those German planes. The pilot was upside down and came over me. But we've made it back home okay.
Once home, they found an unexploded shell that had gone through his jacket and into his seat. He kept it for a souvenir. If it had exploded,
I'd have been 2 people, upper part and lower part.
But these days, there's a different history Les is more interested in talking about, that of his house.
It was my wife's house.
Okay.
Yeah, she was born here.
As were her ancestors, going back to 1826, making this the oldest home to be continually lived in the state of Wisconsin. The history is endless, such as the day a soldier living here murdered his officer for cutting his whiskey ration.
He waited outside the window for the boss to go out, and then he shot him in the back, and the man died after 3 or 4 hours.
That happened right here.
Yep.
Enter Les's hand-built museum, and the history comes alive. From antique pistols.
Their stagecoach was robbed one time.
Okay.
And so the boss man, Mr. Louis Rio, bought these pistols for his drivers. Something like 28 caliber, some were 32 caliber.
To unique leather boxes.
We had it dated by the New York Historical Society. I think it was 1819.
1819, this box.
Yeah.
To the possible precursor of the beer can. This was a bottle of beer.
Think so?
Huh? That's a pretty stout bottle of beer.
It would keep it nice and cool.
For years, Les's wife's ancestors ran the Duck Creek Quarry, then known as Riviera au Kindard. Hard-looking men who mined the earth for stone shipped around the world. So a lot of the names here, boy, very famous Green Bay names that you see here.
Those are Duck Creek names. A lot of those names are still here.
Where did the passion come from to preserve this, the history?
Because of the history. Because of the history, I think, yeah. Because it had so much history. My wife's folks they were such remarkable people. French Canadians, happy-go-lucky, always happy. I just liked the place, you know. And my wife really was a determining factor.
Do you feel like this is kind of a tribute to your wife and her family?
Yeah.
Tremendous, gentlemen. If you'd like a tour of Les's museum or his home, contact the Howard Historical Society. Mino, NBC 26.
And Mino is always looking for interesting story ideas. It's why we created the Mino Project. Have a great story you think Mino should tackle? Just email your idea to minoproject@nbc26.com.